Oh, baby. Let's do it live on a Victory Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. The air a little cleaner. The wine a little smoother.
Oh, baby, was it?
The dessert's a little sweeter. The rest a little sounder after a victory, my friend.
It feels good. Much needed, and really dominant. It was what you wanted to see. I said in the pregame I wanted this to be the Quinshawn Judkins game, and it certainly was. Not one, not two, but 3 touchdowns. Had the hat trick. First time a Browns runner has done it since the great Nick Chubb in 2022. I actually flummoxed Siciliano in that, and I said that because it was the last time he did it was week 2 of 2022. Nick Chubb ran for 3 touchdowns, and I was like, some might call that the Joe Flacco game. He's like, no, it was 2022. He wasn't here yet. I'm like, if you remember how that game ended.
You will remember.
If you remember, it was unfortunately not a great scene for us at the end of that one. This one, a much better scene, though. And really, you beat up on a team that was struggling in its own right. It wasn't as easy as you would have thought running the football. They were the worst run defense in the league. But we hit enough big plays there, and then we capitalized. 4 takeaways in the game, 3rd game in a row without a giveaway, and the Browns are 16-6 under Kevin Stefanski when they don't turn the football over. That's including being 1-2 this year.
Yeah.
So that is a good formula, and they've been able to do that. And I was told by the coach, something that he's very happy about, is that we are now even in the turnover margin for the season.
Nice.
After getting 4 and not giving one away here this week. We've really gone we're +6 over the last 3 weeks, if you think about it. We were +2 against Minnesota, +4 in this one. And you capitalized. Defense did a great job, completely disrupted the Miami offense, got after Tua, 4 sacks, 3 picks, should have had another. Miles Harden had a pretty easy one that he would have, I'm sure would have liked for his first interception. But it was what you needed. Dylan Gabriel managed the game very well, 13 of 18, very efficient. And there are ones that I'm sure he's going to watch on film and say, man, I probably had a chance to get a couple more or get a touchdown there. But just a good, solid win. Andre Schmidt continues to impress. It was all 3 phases. It really was one of those.
All married.
Bojorquez hit some beautiful punts in this game. It was everything you wanted, everything we needed, and now it's about stacking that and getting another one. It's going to be very tough, but we'll get to that game on Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and just enjoy this moment. This was a decisive, dominant beating by the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, you think about I just think about the folks that are down there tailgating all day Sunday morning. I think about the thousands that are in the stadium in rainy, kind of bad, not great conditions. It wasn't overly cold, but it just kind of wet and damp and breezy at times. And you think about giving up your day to a football team, and every once in a while it's just nice to get a win and not worry about if it can become something else and not worry about what it might mean for the offseason or the future at these positions. But in the end, what we're doing here is entertainment, and on a Sunday you were entertained in a pretty comprehensive way. And I think, we have been in a situation here. You and I talked about this on Friday's show coming out of the way everything looked on Thursday down in Cincinnati with Joe. It was like, man, what did we do to the football gods that everything has felt like it has turned against us this year? It was nice to have a day where things went our way and calls went our way, and we were able to take advantage of those and get ahead and then just stay ahead and maintain a lead. And we weren't very explosive in the second half of this game and weren't really seem like we were trying to be. But it didn't matter. You had a big lead. You were able to get the win, salt it away, and away you go, and there's value in that. And I think sometimes we lose that. We spend so much time talking about big picture and all of these things. It just feels nice to win on a Sunday every now and then.
Yeah, I was going shopping this morning, and everybody at the store they were happy. They were happy for me, happy for us, happy for all of you. It was just, we needed this. We needed this joy, and we got it, and that's a beautiful thing. Let's not forget. Everybody's the Dolphins were a missed tackle away from beating the Chargers last week. They had scored 20-plus in 5 straight games going into this one. So to hold that team out of the end zone, that was impressive. This was a great defensive performance. Jim Schwartz really switched things up We played more zone than we've played in any game this year. In fact, we played predominantly zone.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of different blitzes and what they call zone dogs, where you had defensive linemen dropping into zones. I thought they were incredibly well coached. One of the things that they did so well is they knew the ball's going to come out quick, and we had our defensive linemen, all right, if you're not getting there, get ready to run out wide, because that's where Achan's going to be having the ball. Alex Wright made a bunch of plays chasing him down like that. Shelby Harris did as well. Malik Collins, Isaiah McGuire. So this was just well coached, well orchestrated, and good teams take advantage of other teams' mistakes, or in this case, some good fortune. There were some calls that went our way that in the past had not gone our way.
Yeah.
And we capitalized on those, and I thought that was very fun to see. Now, I'm going to take some credit for it. There were discussions about the football gods and that we'd angered them, and I thought you and I on a group chat had made one of the most complimentary offerings to the football gods that could ever be made, and it feels like it. We can't say it isn't the reason we were rewarded.
I think the scenario that you and I proposed was a satisfying one to the football gods, and then you get a victory.
Yeah.
Perhaps as satisfying as the gods could ever be.
I would think so.
You can't say not, and
No,
it feels
I
like
won't
there's
say
a
not.
great deal of proof that it would be.
Yeah, there is.
The 25 for 84, 3 touchdowns for Quinshon Judkins. You had called it last week. We all kind of knew like this was the game for him to eat. A lot of it came on 2 carries, but that's the deal
63
here.
of it.
Yeah, and so he's getting what he's getting despite not ideal rush situations for a running back in terms of where he's hit.
He had more yards after contact than he had yards. So that means on average
folks.
you're being hit in the backfield. So that's tough. That's not great. That has got to be worked on. And what's wild about it is people would say, yeah, and he had the big touchdown, which makes it a little bit scarier, because on that touchdown – he got on that one. That was a 46-yard rush, and he was contacted about 10 yards down the field. So 35 of that were after contact. So he actually was a plus 10 on that one big rush. And yet, we still were – he's actually even a little bit more than that. We still were negative for the day. 95 yards after the contact for Quinshon Judkins. He averaged 3.8 yards after contact per carry. He averaged 3.4 yards per carry. So we have got to do a better job, again, of getting him a little bit of room. But he is a special player. We talked about it. I said, look, I don't care if it's Wildcat, whatever.
Yeah. There you go, kids.
And, I wonder where I got that idea. And they did it effectively down near the goal line. He scored twice from that Wildcat formation on 3 plays. So you love to see that. They just did what they had to do. They did what they had to do to win this game. And this defense, Myles Garrett was very adamant about talking about what this defense could look like when they're playing with a lead. And, well, you saw it. And it looked really, really good. Yeah,
I mean, it allowed – the Dolphins are a team like – there's a lot of teams like this in the league. We're one of these teams. It's very difficult for us to chase.
Yep.
We don't have the explosives in the pass game to be able to chase. You saw Denver yesterday. They can chase. They did. They put 30 up in the fourth quarter of that game.
Insane.
You've seen some teams that are able to chase. We aren't one of those teams. The Dolphins aren't one of those teams. So if you get behind early and you make them one-dimensional, then that's what you get. And that's what Myles was talking about last week when he was talking about that. It's like, be nice if every single time they had to throw it. And we're going to have Ronnie Hickman on with us here in about 15 minutes. He's going to join us in studio. And he lit up. All of them did. Delpit, all of them. You light up when you go, oh, the ball's coming out. We can make a play here. They can't run it. They got to throw it to try to catch up. And that's when a defense can eat, and that's something that this defense has been waiting on.
I mean, here's the thing that I think is amazing is that Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell gave up a combined 7 yards in coverage in this game.
Jeez.
7. Man. That's it. Now, Miami with Tyreek Hill's a little bit different.
Yeah.
They also lost Darren Waller. This is a team that has 3 people who touch the football: Darren Waller, Jalen Waddle, and Devon Achane. And Achane still ended up having he had the best game of all of them: 13 carries for 82 yards, 3 catches for 16. But you limited Jalen Waddle to 1 catch for 15 yards. Their only big play of the game to Eskridge came. That was we had already kind of subbed everybody out, and kind of a heck of a throw by Quinn Ewers, to be honest with you, because Shelby Harris had one of those all-time classic bull rush wins on tape where he throws the guard on his Tookus and then gets right in there. But Ewers got the throw. But yeah, this was a fantastic performance by the Cleveland Browns defense. And it was fun to see. It was a fun thing to see. Even got the hometown kid, Jerome Baker got a sack. Delpit with a sack, a forced fumble, another pressure that led directly to an interception. Miles had a sack and 2 tackles for a loss. Tyson Campbell gets a pick and a pick 6. He's now got 10 passes defensed on the season. He had 6 with the Jags in 5 games, and he's got 4
great
in 2 games with us. This is a great fit for him. Even though we played more zone here, great fit for him in this game. And just I love what he's brought to this football team. This was just needed. It was needed, and you got it, and you did everything that you had to do. It wasn't always pretty, but you took advantage of some short fields. You took advantage of opportunities and some penalties that went your way. And that's all you can do. All you can do is play the opponent that's put in front of you, and all you can do is go out there and make sure that you capitalize when given opportunities, and the Browns did that.
What is it with the color rush? I know these are our alpha dogs as opposed to color rush, but remember we had that stretch with the color rushes when Bake was a rookie. We just kept winning in them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 2-0 in these babies.
2-0. 2-0.
They look great. Look great on TV. It looks beautiful. It's a nice mix.
And it really is tough. You wonder, the London games are so cool, and it was great to be a part of it. But had that game been played here, do we win that game? And if we win that game, you're feeling a lot different about everything. You're a one win behind the Steelers, who are certainly a beatable football team.
For sure.
But
it's a big what if. And the other thing that I wanted to get with you on is Dylan. This was his best game from a completion percentage standpoint by a wide margin. Over. Oh, big smile out of you on the over-unders on that. Gibbe.
And what was Quinchon's final number? It was 23.5.
23.5. Got it. Yeah.
I thought I was going to get hosed when he had the one nice run that was called back on a hold, so that eliminates it as a carry. But I think I did all right in the.
I think you might have. Yeah, he ended up with 25, and the number was 23.5.
Well, he had
so you got there.
18.
Well, I know the second quarter. I'm like, we're just going to annihilate this.
I thought we were going to 30. I really did.
I was going to text you guys. I try not to do that too much during the game, but I was going to text you being like 30.5 might have been. That might have been the number had it stayed. But Dylan, 13 of 18, 116, did take the 2 sacks, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but took care of the ball, out quick, accurate, all those things. Eventually, there's going to have to be the next evolution of that.
Yes.
But in this instance, he did all that was needed to get a win.
First half, the weather was really kind of prohibitive to pushing the ball down the field. Second half, I think it was a little bit more. From a weather standpoint, anyway, it was fine. But at that point, we were not trying to push the football down the field. We were trying to be very careful with what we were doing. So in this game, he threw one pass all day over 20 yards in the air, and that was the one that went for Judy, who was open, but the ball kind of hung up in the wind and ended up short. Now, in that one, he may had Quinshon Judkins on the right with a blocker and literally nobody over there, which would have been lovely to see. But he did a better job. And one of the things I talked about, when he's kept clean, in this game, this was the cleanest he's been kept all year, but got his yards per attempt up to 7.4, his completion percentage up to 78.6 when clean. If he can operate there, and there were 2 layups I think that he missed in this game, and I think that he would certainly agree. One should have been a touchdown to Jerome Ford, with the one where Jerry Judy basically ran a pick play, got knocked on the ground, and he threw it at Judy. I'm pretty sure that play was designed to just go to Ford, and it would have been a walk-in. But overall, I thought managed the game well. He had a really nice ball to Harold Fannin that was layered in there. That was a big boy throw. That was a big time throw. So overall, pleased with Dylan Gabriel. And again, 3 games in a row, no turnovers. We just got to find a way to start hitting a little bit more of those big plays, and especially off of play action. That's the one thing that we have not yet totally unlocked in this offense that we need to. That's where the chunks have to come from, is some of that play action, and we just have not yet gotten there.
There was a one where I think he scrambled. He scrambled to his left, and he picked up a first down, but you could see it on the television. They showed the replay.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Bond is wide open on a post.
Okay.
I mean, it's a touchdown right there, but he pulled it and he picked up the first down, so no harm, no foul. But there was a touchdown out there to be made, and that's that next part of the evolution for him. When you see these young guys come in here, and I think Kevin's done a pretty good job with Dylan in terms of put him in a position to succeed. And when you're in the lead, then you can really do that. Then you can build that run game and you can build things off of it. But the next evolution will be, if you're going to be a full-time starting quarterback in the NFL, a franchise quarterback, all those things, you have got to make the defenses defend every blade of grass. Right now, we're not.
That is true. And right now, Dylan Gabriel is making sure that he does not lose games for
Yeah.
you. The next evolution is he's got to be able to win a game for you at a time, or make a few plays that win games for you. And I think that's what we're certainly hoping to see.
Yeah, those are things. But in the end, you get what you get, and you got to win, and that feels pretty dang good. You get this crazy scene that's making its way virally around the league this morning of Jim Schwartz getting the game ball shirtless and all the things that come with that. It's just fun, man, to have one of those things, to get a win, to have the defense be rewarded for its play really all season, and to be able to play to its full potential without being – to be able to defend a team like Miami with one hand tied behind its back because it couldn't really run it and just pin your ears back and go. Yeah. And they had the time of their lives doing it. The Tyson Campbell acquisition, I mean, it's 2 games. Man.
Yeah.
He's got to look to him, brother.
He's got to look to him, and he's under contract. And you think about how you've gone from Greg, who was playing very well here, who does not have an opportunity. You'd have to pay him. He is not under contract. To be able to take that off of your list and know that you've got Tyson Campbell, he's under contract, is great. I think there are a couple guys here that are playing their way into getting some type of a contract extension before the season is over, and that would be Alex Wright, and then our guest who's going to come up later on the program, Ronnie Hickman. Because Ronnie Hickman, remember, is an undrafted free agent. You have him as a restricted rights free agent at the end of the year. You don't really necessarily have to do anything with him for one more year, so you could delay it just given our situation. But Alex Wright's playing at a level right now that it would not surprise me at all if the Browns want to make sure that they can lock him up.
What did you make of Mike McDaniel's outfit? Poor dude, man. I feel for him. He looked like one of the Medellin cartel hitmen is what he looked like, with those shades on and the hoodie and all that.
The Unabomber.
A little bit of Unabomber in there too. I just was like, you listen to him post game, you see it, and I know he was here, and he's one of those brilliant offensive minds. Remember, they're only like 2 years away from scoring 70 in a game. They scored 70.
Yeah.
With this offense, and it was like the best offense on the planet. But in this league, if you aren't evolving, you're dying.
Yep.
And it feels like they've had a bunch of things, injuries, so forth and so on. The Tyreek thing's obviously very real, but it was starting to peter out a little bit. And now he's at a point where he got the vote of confidence today to try to get things fixed. But that was a very tough look for them in terms of their give a damn. The CBS halftime show went at the whole operation pretty heavily, both during the game and post game. Cowher went at him pretty hard.
I'm pretty surprised that they didn't make a decision or make a move today. He's a respected offensive mind in the league, there's no doubt, and I think that he will, if this is the end of his head coaching career, I think he will easily get an offensive coordinator job in the NFL. Man, you feel for them. Not really, because they're not us, but that's a team that just shows you how quickly things can change in the NFL.
Yes.
Because they were a playoff team.
Yeah.
Anthony Weaver's being talked about as a head coaching candidate, as the defensive coordinator there, and that feels like that's probably going to be a little bit tougher to make that happen. Life comes at you very fast in the National Football League. That is just a fact. Life comes at you very, very fast.
Yeah, you blink and you go from flavor of the month to looking for another job very quickly. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We are totally loaded up. The Joe Thomas half hour of the program coming up in the second hour. Coming up next, you're going to hear from safety Ronnie Hickman, who had an interception in this game. Before we do that, though, this season, check the Browns social channels daily to play our digital scratch-off game for your chance to win club seats and other great prizes. It's presented by Ohio Lottery, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, Ronnie Hickman in studio. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Joined now in studio, Ronnie Rocket Hickman joining us in studio, 31-6. Sometimes it's just nice on a Sunday to get a win, my friend. What does a victory Monday feel like, the way this defense has been playing, and to finally get a result?
It's a great feeling. It's hard to win in this league, so anytime you get a chance to walk off that field with a W, it's a huge feeling, and something we got to build off of.
You guys had 3 interceptions in this game. You get the second interception of your career.
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel for you guys to finally just kind of have that breakthrough where it's, we're getting to the quarterback, getting the interceptions?
It was huge. We talked about it a lot, especially leading up into the season as far as takeaways being, a main thing for us defensively and special teams too. And we got one out on kickoff. But it's just a great feeling, the work you put in week and week out. And being on the defensive side, you can't control when the ball's going to come your way or, things like that. So for us to, use coverage and the rush as well with the pressures and stuff like that, for it all to come together was great.
Now, think about your room in particular. Coach Bonda's had to be a great film session. You get a pick. Yeah. Rayshon gets a pick. Grant forces the fumble on special teams. Rayshon's kind of involved in Tyson's.
Yeah.
Grant's involved with the pressure on Rayshon's pick. McMillan gets a sack.
Yep.
I mean, you guys, it was just stat sheet stuff in Supreme right there.
1,000%. Coach Banda, the first thing he said was like, I don't know how long y'all going to be in this profession, but I know, like, for as far as a room, to have a stat sheet like that, it probably won't happen again. So it was a great film session. We were able to learn, but also, just see, like, what happens when you put the work in. And it started Monday for us. Coming in after the game and just kind of setting that game plan of what's this week going to look like for us. So for everything to go in how we executed or wanted to happen was huge.
Obviously, you guys set a plan each week based on the opponent, but all sorts of factors in this one. The weather was going to be a factor.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like your guys' plan for this specific team was a little different than what we've seen in previous weeks. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, to be able to execute it, did you have a feeling that this could be a special one on Sunday before it even started?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. I think the coaches did a good job of that, kind of bringing us in. I want to say Thursday, it was kind of like, look, we're looking at the weather. It might be raining. It might be windy. So, we watched film of when they played games when the weather conditions were like that, and we just kind of saw how their offense operated, what changed and what they did, and we were kind of prepared for it. Honestly, we knew, the weather can go anywhere in Cleveland, being here for a few years, and it went that way, and it wasn't too bad, but it was different, and it changed the offense a little bit. And I think us being practicing it earlier in the week, being prepared for it, ultimately, helped us out there on Sunday.
When on your interception, like pre-snap, did you have an idea that might be an interception? I did a bad job on the call. I stepped over Siciliano because as soon as the ball left his hand, I felt like I was playing Madden with my buddy Vince, where like as soon as the ball's in there, I go pick. That's what I said. If you listen to the broadcast, I go pick, and then he picks it like 2 seconds later. But I could see it a mile away. Did you know pre-snap for maybe the splits?
Yeah, pre-snap, I definitely was like, I knew it was coming down to like the ops are getting slimmer and slimmer. So pre-snap, I kind of really told myself, like, come on, throw it to me, Tua. And it's funny, I caught the pick, but when I got to the sideline, I was talking to Casey, another safety in the room, and he was just like on the sideline, like, I called it. And everyone on the sideline was like, Casey called it. He called it on the sideline, and it happened. So I said shout out to him for manifesting that for me. But it was great, though, just to, to come through and, catch it and make a play for the guys.
This is you think about an 18-week season, a 17-game regular season. You guys have been you've been on buses to Detroit and Pittsburgh and flights overseas and everything else. You finally get to come home. It feels like it's been forever since we've played at home. Mm-hmm. What was it like? Was it a relief to just finally get back in front of the home fans and to be able to deliver after what's been kind of a crazy month?
Yeah, anytime we get a chance to perform in front of the dog pound, and, our fans is huge because we owe them a lot. They show up no matter what it is, rain, sunshine, snow, it doesn't matter. So to put on for them, give them something to cheer for, it was huge to put on for them.
By the way, that interception was pretty much in the same spot, I feel like, as your one against the Jets. Maybe a little closer to the goal line.
A little bit further back. I couldn't get to the end zone as fast.
That's what I was going to say. We watch it. You're used to taking those to the house. Did we watch the tape? Was there a cut you could have made?
Yeah, I think I cut too soon, maybe. But I felt the ball move a little bit, and thought came into my head. I was just
Do not
go
fumble.
Down. Yeah, let me just go down. I made the play. Let me just stay while I'm up.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Do you guys have you think about that 17 games, and you feel like you're doing everything right, but you're not getting the results in terms of wins and losses. but you feel like you have to keep chopping wood, and eventually the results will happen. And there have been little signs the last couple of weeks that maybe this was starting to go in the right direction. Do you feel like this could be one of those games that you look back on and say maybe some good stuff starts to happen because of it? Because everything, it felt like after weeks of things not really going our way in games, we finally had one where most things went our way.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, realizing what you did as far as preparation leading up to the game. Because that's where it starts week in and week out. And once you feel like you put a good week of work in with your guys, whether it's game plan, mentally, physically, whatever it is in the room, as a defense, as an offense, and when you see it show up on Sunday and you see, like, listen, when we do our job, when we don't hurt ourselves, then we can start winning. It was kind of one of those things. And we know what kind of guys we got in the room. We know what talent we have. But if we don't take care of that other stuff, the wins and losses, it'll just be a loss. So I think we see now, like, when we do our stuff and we take care of our business, what can happen.
How fun is it to play with a lead?
With who?
To play with the lead.
Man.
That's what I know Miles was saying he wanted. When you know they have to pass.
When you know that ball is coming out, it's definitely a good feeling as a defense. But we like to pride ourselves on just being able to go out there and doing our job, no matter the circumstances. But luckily, like you said, it's a great feeling as a defense, knowing that ball got to come out, because I don't think no one else got a D-line or a pass rush like we got.
Yeah.
So I know for us, speaking for the back guy, for the guys in the back end, we love that, letting those guys eat, knowing that ball might come out early, might come out overthrow. And like you saw, we took advantage of those throws.
Maybe it's something you guys are used to, but that's the first time I've ever seen a defensive coordinator shirtless get a game ball.
Hey, we caught him at a funny time. But he had to come out and get it. It was good for us to all celebrate at the end of the game.
What a moment,
he said
man.
300-pound bench press. I mean, he was looking pretty. He was looking all right.
Oh, y'all heard everything.
Oh, yeah.
They
put the video out.
Okay. I didn't know the video was out. But Shorts be in the gym.
That's all right, man. That's pretty cool. I think one thing that he did that is his personality is through all of you guys, and you can see it. And so when you get the result, then you see what happened yesterday, where everyone's so thrilled for him and for your guys' side of the ball, because you guys have been at an elite level all year.
Yeah. No, it definitely shows. We have an identity as a defense, but we know that our success can help, contribute to other success, and just that energy and momentum. And, once whoever gets it going, it's hard to stop once it's going. So any way we can provide energy, juice, whatever it is for the team, we like to do it.
How's it being just knowing you're the guy? Every week starting like you are the guy. You think about it, look, undrafted free agent, to make it the way that you have, that is a huge success story, not only for you, for the organization, and now you're the guy. Coach Bonda couldn't love you anymore, and you're out there balling.
Coach Ben is my guy. He stood on the table for me. But it's my role. We all have a role as part of this defense, as part of this offense. If you're on this team, even if you're not a football player, like in this organization, we all got a role, and we all got to do our jobs and perform and try to prepare the best so we can be the best on Sunday when it's time to do our job.
One thing that he really likes about you, and one thing that has jumped out, I know a couple of weeks ago you had a career-high 9 tackles, and you followed up the next week career-high 10 tackles, is that we play a lot of single high, so it would be very easy for you to be like, you guys go ahead and you tackle up there. But you've really been getting involved in the tackles right now, 42, a couple more next week. You'll probably break your career high for a season in tackles. But has that been something that's been a real point of emphasis for you? If you think about that, 6 tackles a game from that single high spot to just be involved at all levels.
1,000%. Like I said, we all got a job, and if that ball breaks free, it's my job to get that guy down. Doesn't matter who missed. Doesn't matter what guy jumped out their gap. He's running. I got to get him down. And Coach Bennett does a great job of, drilling techniques and stuff like that week in and week out in practice. He doesn't like it all, especially keeping us on our toes, because the moment you let your guard slip, boom, it can happen like that. So it's just good to to be able to go out there and perform.
Third on the team in tackles. Only Carson and Devin Bush have more tackles than Mr. Hickman.
And they be everywhere.
They are, yes.
They be everywhere.
By the way, you got a couple of former Jags. Rayshawn comes in, and then Tyson comes in.
Man.
The one where Tyson ran down Devon Achane, he
wheels,
was
buddy.
Nah, that's real.
Moving.
Because we all know 28. We all know what kind of guy he is, what kind of back he is. And it's one thing you don't want to do is let him get to that sideline. But I think TC showed. I think if he on the field, I don't think nobody getting to that end zone.
How about the play of number 9, your running mate back there? You guys have formed a pretty formidable duo, and he's probably playing his best football as a pro.
1,000%. GD put the works in day and day out. I think if you ask anyone around this building, just his selflessness, how much effort he's willing to play. Like, if you just cut the tape on, like, he throwing his body around every play. Like, win, losing, he gonna give it all for his guys. And as a player next to him every play, like that only motivates you to do more. Like if he doing that, why I'm not doing this? And I think it just speaks to the character of who he is as a player and as just a person.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really taken on a leadership role. That's who he was at LSU, and it's been great to see. But I think, to your point, you see a guy who's playing at a Pro Bowl level go out there busting his butt on special teams. I mean, he came flying in. It was like a flying left-handed Superman punch to get that ball out there. Whatever it takes, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
It is.
This week, Vrabes was here all last year, and we'd see him out in practice. He's a Buckeye like yourself, and to go up against him this week out in New England, what do you remember about Mike here last year, and how omnipresent was he? And are you looking forward to the challenge of playing, what is turning into a pretty high-flying offense in New England?
A lot of energy. It was always fun to be around Vrabes, whether he was popping in and out of meetings, just hearing him on the field. So I know he's doing a great job over there as far as, mindset and, what he's telling those guys. So I think it'll be a fun matchup.
Going to be this
Let's
Sunday.
go.
Let's
Keep
do
it up, buddy. Great
Thank
seeing you here in studio. Ronnie Hickman.
Thank you guys for having me.
You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Add more fun to your fandom with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today. Get 50 back in bonus bets. You place that first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head now to the podium, presented by Vivid Seats on this fine Victory Monday. Vivid Seats, purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Here's your head coach, Kevin Stefanski.
All right, obviously,
You guys know.
Excited coming off that win for this football team. A bunch of things that you love to see on the field, and in particular, obviously going +4 in the turnover margin was a very big deal. And then just how hard that football team played yesterday on all phases from minute 1 to minute 60. Guys are flying around. So we're in here now watching the tape with the guys to make those necessary corrections, and then we'll move on very quickly to New England. Big road game for us. So we'll have to have a great week of practice. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, Joel was telling us after the game about your sort of fiery, intense speech that you gave on Monday to sort of set the tone and get the offense rolling a little bit. Was this something that you don't normally do? Was this different than your usual team meeting to set up a week?
Joel's not supposed to tell you that, Mary Kay. Listen, there's times when you message to your football team, or I should say this, I message the football team every single day, and there's sometimes you use different tools to get their attention.
And have you ever been that intense? The way he described it is that you gave it to them pretty good.
The Philly comes out every once in a while, yes.
Hey, Kevin, did that feel like one of the better games that Grant has played? And just how does his versatility help you?
He was awesome. I mean, there's a lot of superlatives on the defense, Scott, but man, Grant was flying around that whole safety position. But again, I could go up and down the roster, but yeah, Grant playing at a really high level, a leader for us, just great on and off the field. But man, he's playing physical.
And why did you give a game ball to Jim? And don't you have a dress code for accepting?
We do now. We do have a dress code now. That was the entire defense got a game ball, but I just wanted to point out Jim. I thought it was a really, really smart plan and is obviously very well executed.
Hey, Kevin, I know you say you never look back, but how much easier is it to prepare for a game when you're coming off one like that? Excuse me.
Yeah, I think it's just so important in this game of football that you have that same mentality every single week, and that's something we talk about with our football team. You don't take last week with you, win, lose, or draw. So, obviously you celebrate those wins, but 24-hour rule is going to kick in here pretty soon, and you got to move on.
And then to follow, what made the running game work as well as it did yesterday?
Yeah, I think there's still things we can definitely be better in the run game that we're going to make sure we clean up. But I think as you saw, when it's blocked well, we have runners, plural, and obviously Quinshawn yesterday, but we got guys that can run away from defenders, can break tackles, those type of things. So really pleased to see those guys, be on point with everything in the run game.
Kevin, do you believe when it comes to the running game that rushing attempts are sometimes more important than average yards per rush? Just having the attempts serves a purpose?
Well, there's the old adage of rush attempts, plus completions. I think the bigger challenge, Tony, to get those rush attempts is oftentimes when you have a lead, when you can get that lead and play to that lead. I think those rush attempts certainly factor in.
Hey, Kevin, you talked yesterday about the sort of installing the Wildcat on Thursday night. And so when you're sort of game planning for the weather, the way that it was going to be a factor this week, how much do you have to sort of scrap what you normally want to do conceptually on offense to account for those conditions, sort of the same way that you utilize the Wildcat and sort of put that in there?
Yeah, I think that's just part of dealing with the elements of football. Sometimes you get to Friday and there's a late scratch of a player and you got to get somebody ready to play. There's always constant adjustments that have to be made both during the weekend, during the game. And then with the weather, you have to get down there and see what it's like. The second half was much different than the first half. The first half was difficult conditions, as you saw, for both sides. And the specialists, the long snapper to the holder to the kicker. That's not easy in those conditions. So I thought the guys really handled those well. And then obviously it became a different weather in the second half.
And I was just going to ask if there was an update on Aiden, and then what the outlook sort of is for David Njoku this week.
Yeah, Aiden is in the concussion protocol, and then Dave is really day to day.
Hey, Kevin, what was it about Rayshawn Jenkins that you guys saw in this matchup that you thought he could be so effective in?
Yeah, just different things that when you go into games, thinking about matchups and how you want to deploy your players based on what they have done going into a game. So there's certain personnel groupings that you want to match with your own personnel grouping. So that's something I think that Jim and the defensive staff are constantly thinking about. And then Rayshawn's always ready. He's played meaningful snaps for us in all these ball games, plays meaningful snaps on special teams. So I thought he played a really good football game yesterday.
And then Tyson just chasing down Achane to save that touchdown yesterday. I guess, like, how aware were you of his speed? Obviously, he talked about being a former high school track star and everything, but just to see like the want to from a guy like that who just got in the building last week, how impressed were you?
Yeah, that was legit speed on both sides. I haven't seen the miles per hour yet, but those guys, Tyson, thank God he's that fast because he was flying. But I really, talk about Tyson's speed, but man, he plays physical too. Just love and he's a bigger corner. Love how he throws his weight around, how he tackles. I thought he was flying all over the field yesterday.
Hey, Kevin, can you elaborate a little bit on how challenging it is to keep the cohesion and chemistry with an offensive line where you guys have dealt with the injuries you had and you've had 7 different starting offensive line iterations in 7 games?
Yeah, that's just part of our job as coaches to get guys ready to play. And then obviously what you do and how you install, how you meet, how you structure a game plan to maximize the ability to learn, knowing that could be some guys in some different spots.
And then how did you guys grade out Harold Fannon's performance yesterday?
Yeah, Harold was very good. Asked him to do a couple different things than he has done, but I thought he competed like crazy. That's the one thing I would always point out with Harold is just how hard this kid plays. He competes in the run game. When the ball's in his hand, he's hard to bring down. When the ball's not in his hand, he's running down to help his teammates find a block. So he's playing really hard for us.
Yeah, Kevin, just wondering, how tough will it be for you guys to go to New England and face a Mike Vrabel coached team? Obviously, he knows you guys very well, and I know the respect that you have for him. So what might this be like?
Yeah, it's going to be a great challenge. Coach Vrabes is, somebody that I admire in this profession, how he goes about his business. He was very impactful for us while he was here, while we borrowed him for a bit. But they're playing really good football, and they're talented on all 3 sides of the ball. They're well coached, so it's going to be a great challenge for our football team.
Kevin, there's that one play where kind of picked up Achane and bumped him to the ground. It was really physical. I know you've talked about it, but what kind of a physical presence has Carson brought?
Yeah, that's right away, Scott. Is the ability to run and hit at that position is paramount, and he does both really well. I'd also just point out his ability to get us in and out of our defense. And I think there's we talk about the nerve center of our defense being our linebackers and our safeties. And when you have that green dot and you're making the calls and you're orchestrating, to be able to do that as a young player is very, very, very rare. So in addition to his physicality and his play speed and how he's doing that, I think just the ability to be the leader of the defense at such a young age or at such an early point in his career is very impressive.
And with Mike Hall, with the bye coming up after this game, will that be a factor in whether or not he plays Sunday?
Yeah, he's getting better every single day, so we'll see how it goes throughout this week, but really focused on this week more so than anything in the future.
Hey, Kevin, you've talked about a lot of them, Quinshon, Harold, Carson. With your rookie class, they've started off so strong. Is that more of a testament to the talent, and what kind of a testament is that to your coaching staff as they got them developed and ready to make an impact so early?
Yeah, I think, we've talked about these guys, Cam, where they are young, but they have the right attitude, these guys. So, credit certainly goes to the players and the assistant coaches have done an outstanding job of getting these guys ready to roll. But all these guys have the right attitude, which is such a big part of it.
I got two questions. The first one is, Kevin, obviously the passing game isn't where you want it to be ultimately. So how do you go about growing a passing game with a rookie quarterback while still game planning a specific opponent and trying to win games?
Yeah, I think bottom line, Tony, is you go into every game with a plan to try to attack the defense and wherever you feel like they may be vulnerable. But we certainly want to grow in all aspects of our offensive attack, run game and pass game. And, I think with a young quarterback, obviously practice is very important. So how we work here is real important. Wednesday through Friday, getting those reps, I think you can make strides certainly in all the work you're putting in.
And the other question about Vrabel last year, obviously he was a very accomplished coach. And from the onset, you were very comfortable with having him in the building. Why were you so comfortable and not threatened at all that Vrabel could somehow end up with a permanent job here?
Yeah. Braves is a good friend, wanted him around the building as much as we could get him last year. Like I told you guys when we brought him in, there's only so many times you can go skiing. So he was excited to get back to work. But yeah, I think it's just the friendship there, Tony, and somebody I trust.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the passing game as well, but I'll try to kind of follow up on it here. What have you sort of learned about Dylan over the past couple of games, the past 3 games, including yesterday when you couldn't really necessarily evaluate the passing game thoroughly in that kind of weather? But maybe what did you learn about him yesterday and in the previous 2 games that you guys think that you can build on moving forward?
Yeah, I think with all of our young players, Mary Kay, we're learning about them every day. They're in the building. Obviously, these games are important for them and putting them in different situations. So obviously, Dylan's only 3 games into his career, and it's had some unique challenges, but to be able to play clean and take care of the football for this football team and obviously get his first win as a starting quarterback yesterday, I thought was, very good for him. Obviously, that's something that you always remember.
And has the mobility been about what you expected it to be, just in terms of, his speed at this level of football? I mean, is that going the way you expected it to, or are you finding it's maybe even better than you perhaps thought it might be?
Yeah, I think he's done a nice job moving in the pocket. I thought the play to Jamari was really high level yesterday to break contain to the left and have Jamari coming across the field. I think a 23-yard gain on 3rd down. So those are the type of things that when you're talking about scramble drill, it really does. It's important for everybody to be on the same page. I thought it was a good rep by both Dylan and Jamari yesterday.
I'm good, Kevin. Thanks.
Oh, great. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, see you guys.
A little bit of levity on a Victory Monday, even in the press conference. There you go.
Oh, man.
If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused your injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Second hour of the program coming up next. Among the topics of conversation, the Joe Thomas half hour of the program. We'll go around the league coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. It's presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, head to Meijer to scan the Hillshire Farms QR code in the meat department until November 11th for your chance to win a suite for 10 to the Steelers game on December 28th. We will have much more on our big win against the Miami Dolphins here on Sunday with the Joe Thomas half hour of the program, which is coming up in about 20 minutes from now. The Great Hofstradamus. Before that, though, let's go around the league.
Did you say Hofstradamus?
The Hofstradamus.
I'm going to call you Nostradamus because
oh baby,
the scores were hot for Bo Bishop.
Yeah, they were
11-2 right now going into Monday night. 11-2.
So
I'm a very middling 7-6.
Well, you have a week. We got two big ones though.
Thanks to my premonition.
Yeah.
To switch to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
Which I did document it.
You did document it. Yeah.
So I was watching the pregame and they're like, yeah, not only is McLaurin out, Debo's out, some other receiver was out.
Nobody.
And I'm like, no.
You can only overcome so much.
No. I said Cowboys.
I did. I went 8-3 on college. To this point, it's the best I've done college pro combo for a weekend, like 19-5 or something like that, heading into tonight. So we'll see. Ball's not going to spike itself, but a lot of work to do. Hey, I wanted to ask you guys something before we go around the league.
Yeah.
Did what happened Friday night? Was what happened Friday night the most impressive thing that nobody is talking about in the history of sports?
Is what happened Friday night. Oh, you're talking Ohtani? Absolutely. Yeah. That even got Pedro fired up. Multiple articles were sent. It is, yes. 10 strikeouts in 5 or 6 innings and 3 home runs?
He threw 5 innings or 6 innings of scoreless, 10 Ks, 3 for 3, 3 home runs.
Yes.
In an NLCS.
Yes.
In a clinching NLCS.
Yes.
He hit one out of Dodger Stadium. I saw somebody put this on social. They said, be like shooting 63 at Oakmont. First 12 holes right-handed, last 6 left. There's no precedent for it. It is a feat unlike anything that we've ever seen. No one's ever even attempted the audacity to attempt that.
I feel bad for him that this isn't 1987 or 1992.
Oh, my God.
This would be the number one story. It would be all anybody was talking about.
It was gone by Saturday morning with all the college football stuff Saturday and all the NFL Sunday. Like it happened on a Friday night, and it's vaporized
Many
by 10 o'clock Saturday.
And oral histories have already been produced, and you have other great players saying how great it is. But yeah, it's unfortunate for him because if this was in our youth, this would be the number one sport. This would be nobody would stop talking about it.
Well, do you remember those VHSs you with Sports Illustrated and like the great moments in sports or whatever? Yeah. And how many times you'd see the Reggie Jackson hitting the 3 home runs in the World Series? Which I don't know if
Mr.
any
October.
kids, Mr. October.
You got a month named after him.
3 home runs in one game. This is that.
And he was
times
the ace.
$1 billion. He was the ace. He struck out 10.
I mean, it's not since the great Bambino that you've heard of such things, and that was, that's lore. Like, imagine if Ohtani was alive in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, in the DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle era. He would be like, we know that. There is no way. Mickey Mantle had his best year, I want to say, was 1956. Like, the fact that I know that is credit to my father, but also that's how baseball was revered. So that's 22 years before I was born.
Yes.
A kid who was born in 2047, unless they come from a particular family, is not even going to have any idea about Shohei Ohtani.
No.
Like, and I could name, maybe they'll know Shohei Ohtani, but like I can name a bunch of people who played in the 50s.
Of course.
From baseball.
Yes.
I probably, in fact, could name more people who play Major League Baseball in the 50s. I can name more All-Stars from the 50s, I bet, than I could name from 2025.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's fair. I think it's slipped that far, and it's it's like you even have to go like beyond. I thought about like Tiger at Pebble when he was 8 under, and the next best was 3 over, but even still, that's just dominant in golf at one aspect. I mean, this is no one even attempts this. There's no, I don't know. It'd be like if Travis Hunter was the best player in an AFC championship game and he had like 10 catches for 133 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then he also played corner and shut down Tyreek Hill and had a pick 6 and then returned a punt for a touchdown. Like You just keep adding superlatives because there's no real point of reference.
No, there is no point of reference. It's crazy. It's crazy. It just is not.
No, we don't have it. There's nothing for it.
Yeah, it's just not the.
No, it's just crazy because how big it would have been any place for the Dodgers.
Right.
For God's sakes. And it's still a blip.
Yeah, it's a blip. It's hard to understand when you see what people get paid in baseball. I realize there's so many games, but it's still hard to understand a sport that is so. Like when I was a kid, if Ohtani was around then, I remember when we got season tickets and that meant we got to go to the All-Star. Like it would be like, oh my goodness, I'm going to see Ohtani.
Yeah.
And now back then, you did not see the National League.
No.
Unless
you played him in the World Series.
Or an All-Star game. You got to
That's
see
it.
the guy.
Yeah.
Which they probably should have kept, but I understand why they didn't. It was when I read it, I'm like, I couldn't possibly.
I
have
actually
read this
remembered it was on. I saw the second and third home run
live.
Well, I had I went home from the high school football game. Nice win for the Explorers over Nordonia. Good job out of them. Took a couple of overtimes, and I got home, and it was in the middle of it. And so I saw the second and third home run, and then I saw him. I had it on the two screens. I had the college football on the other screen with Miami losing to Louisville. So I double screened it, and I was watching it, and I was like, I'm watching. This is history.
Totally
crazy. Couple things around the league. Aaron Glenn saying he hasn't decided on his quarterback for next week.
He's also said that he's going to talk to other coaches around the league to get advice.
That's not a good sign.
Which, man.
Yeah. I mean, 2 years, $40 million on Fields. So that's not great. Bryce Young with a high ankle sprain. So they're going to have to continue to monitor that as the Panthers got another win. Speaking of Ohtani, this one isn't on that level, but I've never seen anything quite like what Denver did yesterday to score 30-some points.
It's the greatest quarter ever.
Yeah.
It is without precedent.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is the first quarterback to rush for 2 touchdowns or player to rush for 2 touchdowns and throw 2 touchdowns in one quarter.
Yeah.
They had 0 going into that quarter.
That's right.
Not a single point.
That's right. And if you're watching it, Dart leads him down, and he sneaks it in and scores with under a minute left to go.
Pretty questionable pass interference call.
True,
given the circumstances.
No doubt. And Sean Payton had every right to lose his mind on it. But there's 30-some seconds left at that point, and you're like, but then you miss the extra point, and it gives him that chance.
When have you seen that? A coach on the field berating the officials. He just gets a 15-yard penalty, and it was really a 1-yard penalty. And by the way, they needed him to score on that play.
They absolutely did. Otherwise, they lose.
Yes. If he had been ruled down, which he was,
yes.
If that had not been overturned, they lose the game.
Absolutely. Wild one. We'll go through every game in one thought tomorrow. This month's winner of the local business platform presented by Minuteman Association with Medical Mutuals and Vision Design Group. Locally owned and mentored, Vision Design Group is dedicated to crafting authentic, innovative, affordable brand solutions. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/community/local business platform. Our final thoughts. We also have some scores for you coming up next. In addition to that, your great clips. It's going to be great call of the game and the Joe Thomas half hour all still ahead. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily presented by Bally Bet. Official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The franchise now?
No, I didn't edit
Who is
that
responsible
cut.
for this?
No one in this room edited that cut. I just uploaded it without listening to it because I was like, "Oh, there's a highlight. I need that."
As soon as he
I didn't
starts
realize
no
that
one
you
in
were
this
cut
current
off.
room did either.
No one there did.
I didn't realize it. We'll make it good, buddy. Don't worry. We'll
I
get
should
you
let
back.
you know that,
we'll get you back tomorrow
now
on the
your
Microsoft.
Grant?
Monday.
Now's your chance to be inches away from your favorite players. They take on some big opponents. Field Seats, Huntington Bank Field, put you up close and personal with the thrill of the game. Limited quantities are available, so get them soon before they're gone. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/field seats to secure your spot now. Time now for the great clips. It's going to be great. Call of the game. Is this Quinchon to the barn? Quinchon to the barn. Let's go.
What about pick?
Gabriel on first down will give to Judkins running up the middle. Big hole 40. He's in the 35. He's in the 30. It's a foot race 20, 15, far sideline. Touchdown! Quinchon Judkins, 46 yards to the house.
And guess who was in right there? KT Leviston. Him and Wyatt Teller blocked down. They ran right up the back of those two behemoths and into the end zone. Quinchon Judkins turning on the Jets, and the Browns took advantage of it. This is the official said, here's a gift, Cleveland. And Quinchon Judkins with the home run there, his fourth run of more than 30 yards this year, 46 yards to the crib, Andrew.
There's the franchise for you there. Look at all the context, all the color, if you will.
Thank you.
That's what we need. We needed that a little.
And also got to give a good shout out right there. So those guys double teamed down.
Yep.
You had pulling Joel Bitonio and Harold Fannin got in there, and they kind of doubled on Brooks. And then Blake Whiteheart had a good kick out block, and then really got to give Quinchon credit for juking Minkin Fitzpatrick and taking it to the house. Just that was beautiful. It was poetry in motion.
Indeed, it was. We've got a double header tonight, kids. We also have a Game 7 in the MLB.
Go, hold on.
What's that?
It's a big night in Seattle. Let's get right down to it because we have less than 60 seconds. 7 o'clock ABC, Tampa Bay visiting Detroit City. Zagura.
Hold on, I got to go take a peek here. Detroit Rock City.
60 seconds.
This does not make any sense to me at all. Monstrous.
Or does it?
Lions by 1 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. It actually went up 3 since Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bake has nobody to throw to. They're all hurt.
I thought Evans was playing.
I'm not sure on that. Either way, I see it same as you. I got Lions comfortable.
If you're in Seattle, it's a hell of a night to be in the Emerald City. 8 o'clock there, Eastern time. You have the ALCS.
And those that's in Toronto, isn't it, Gibbe?
I was just saying, they're literally on the same property.
My bad.
Yeah, it's in Toronto.
Go 2-3-2.
You're in a bar getting blitzkrieg.
You're watching, yeah.
Yeah. 8 o'clock is the ALCS Game 7. 10 o'clock, Houston visiting Seattle on ESPN. 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Give me the rolling ones. Give me 7 and 8:30.
Yeah, I'm not going to see much. I'm not going to
Bishop.
see much of this last one. I'm just staying with it. I think Seattle's just legit good, and I think they'll handle their business at home tonight. And I think the Mariners win too. So Seattle reigns. Give me the Seahawks winning this one comfortable, 31-21.
We see this one the same. We see it the same. Let's go. I think Seattle's a very good football team.
Yeah.
Houston, I like them. I think it's going to be competitive. But like you said, I don't like it starting that late. I'm just not going to see much of it.
No, that's tough body clock, too, for the Houston.
It should be
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah, that'd be the sweet spot. The Joe Thomas half hour of the program coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily on this Victory Monday edition, the Joe Thomas half hour of the program. Victory Monday sounds pretty dang good to us, Hoff. We've been celebrating already for the first hour and a half of this thing. Just getting a win on a Sunday feels pretty good from time to time, does it not, my friend?
There's no replacement, Bo, for getting a W, because it doesn't matter what the conditions are, where you played, who you beat. Winning just feels good, and for at least one day or maybe 48 hours, it just cures all.
We'll take the week. We're going to take the week.
We're going to take the week. We're going to take the week.
Yeah. We're going to take the whole week just to enjoy it. We're winning until we're not. You know what I mean? We won this game. This was an interesting one, but it was finally some complimentary football. The defense getting the sacks and the takeaways, 4 takeaways, 1 on special teams as well. The offense getting back to just running in. And while it wasn't always pretty, they were able to pop a few big runs. Let's stay with that offense, that run game. What did you see there? Because, on one hand, you could say, well, Quinshon had 63 of his yards on 2 carries, which makes the other few carries not look quite so good, but that's kind of the ground game at times in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you get a 4 or 5 yard average. Look at what Nick Chubb did over his career here, right? He had a 5 yard average, was historic for a long time when he was here. And it was because, you're efficient so you can continue running the ball. You're in close games so you can stick with the run game. But then you got to be able to bounce outside. You got to be able to hit some of those home run balls to be able to have that big average, to be over 100 yards. Because in the NFL, it's just too hard. Defenses are too good. Even the worst run defense in the NFL, like the Dolphins are, they're not going to let you run for 5, 6, 7 yards all the way down the field. So you've got to be able to bust through and get some of those big runs. And especially for our team, which is struggling to push the ball down the field, throwing it, to have a guy like Quinshon starting to break out and hit some of those big home run runs, it's so important for us to be able to make explosive plays to score points. The biggest problem, in my opinion, with the Browns and their lack of being able to get over 17 points was they weren't getting any explosive plays. And when you look at the NFL as a whole, maybe half of the touchdowns are those big explosive plays that go for 30 or more yards. Because once you do get into the red zone, it is hard. I mean, teams do have to settle for kicking field goals a lot because defenses in the NFL are very fast, very good. The windows are very tight when you get into the red zone. So sometimes the best option is score before you get into the red zone. Just score from the 50-yard line or the 40 or the other 40.
He's just such an engine for us, Quinshon is.
Oh, yeah.
It's just you're right. It's all on the 2 carries, but it's like you just keep getting, and then eventually the dam breaks, and then he puts it in the house. And one of the things people weren't sure about with him is could he get caught from behind? Does he have that breakaway speed? No, he's fine. He's more than fine there. He put it in the paint on it, and it's weird because he's a 2nd-round pick. He's the entire identity of this offense right now, Hoff.
Well, that is slightly concerning with your rookie 2nd-round pick being really all you have going on offense. But I think when we talked about the season in training camp, it was we've got a great defense and we're going to have to lean on the run game because we just knew that we weren't going to be able to be a 300-yard passing team every single week. We'd hope that we would maybe have some of them, but the fact that we don't have a big passel of great receivers that are going to be able to catch one-on-one balls like we saw on Thursday night when Flacco was throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's just not how we are built right now, unfortunately. And so you have to lean on your offensive line and your run game. And when you've got a guy like Quinshon who's able to wear down a defense that eventually is going to pop some big runs, he becomes a huge weapon and he becomes who the defense is trying to stop. They game plan to stop a guy like that. And the hope then is that it'll open up some things for Dillon Gabriel to be able to hit in the passing game and maybe start feeling a little more comfortable pushing that ball in the middle down the field.
Yeah, Quinshon Judkins leads the NFL in rushes of more than 30 yards already this season. Through 7 weeks for an NFL rookie. Remember, he's only did it in 6 games because he did not play week 1. There's never been a rookie that's had more than 4 runs of 30 yards through 7 weeks. Here's the list of people that have had 4. I think it's a pretty good list, pretty good company. Saquon Barkley, 2018. Yep. Adrian Peterson in 2007. Kareem Hunt in 2017. Todd Gurley in 2015. And Devon Achane in 2023. That's it. That is list since the year 2000.
Jeez.
So he has been very good. Speaking of 2000, that's the last time the Browns had a rookie rush for 3 touchdowns in a game. That was Travis Prentice, October 8th in the year 2000. But here's one thing Just not a rain on the parade, but just a reality of the situation. This is per Pro Football Focus. Quinshon Judkins, 25 carries for 84 yards, 95 yards after contact. 95. That means on average, he is getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. What was a little troubling about that to me, Hoff, and I realize you're telegraphing that you're running the football, is a lot of this happened with one or even two extra linemen on the field. I mean, we did that all day long. How do we get that push to move the line of scrimmage? Because it felt like the few times that he got to get to the line of scrimmage, we hit big runs.
Well, you were going against a pretty poor run defense in a game where everybody knew that you were probably going to run the ball. I mean, it was windy. It probably wasn't as bad of condition-wise as they were saying it was going to be. But, really, when you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, it's even less about push, and it's more about guys missing an assignment, guys not getting their helmet in the right spot and allowing penetration at the point of attack or where the running back is trying to cut back in a zone play. And I think one of the things that Quinshon Judkins does really, really well is he runs the duo play, right? Which is just that downhill double team. There's no pullers. Everybody's double teaming at the line of scrimmage, and then he finds a hole. And he's run that extremely well. He's hit some big runs. He's able to bounce that out to get one-on-one looks against the cornerbacks. But they just need to be better with being technically sound on their double teams at the point of attack. Because the great part about running the duo play, it was one of my favorites, is you have plenty of time. You don't have to jump off and get up to a linebacker quick like when you're running outside zone or even inside zone or sometimes on your pin pull concepts, because the running back makes you right in that rushing concept. All you need to do is focus on a good hip-to-hip fit with your double teams up front. Get four eyes on your two guys, the defensive tackle, and then that linebacker that you're working to, and then just move that guy slowly down the field. Move him, back him up, and then your running back will start in one gap. It'll bring that linebacker down, and then whoop, he can bounce to the other gap, it's what Judkins does the best, right? He's got the lateral movement, the jump cut. That's his best arsenal. That's his best tool in his tool belt. And so I think that's something that they really want to focus on this week as they're practicing, because it's going to be such an important part, not only for Judkins, but for us as a line, because it's something that's very easy to do. And it's just a matter of being technically sound and getting the proper fits on that offensive line to comfortably be able to have patience and move those defensive linemen off the line of scrimmage.
And then, Hoff, the next thing that the evolution here, you hope, is that you were able to hit something big. And I understand the conditions were what the conditions were. I mean, it was rainy, it was windy, it was those type of things. And Gabriel's really efficient. 13 of 18 in this game, 116, no touchdowns, no picks. Didn't turn it over, stayed within himself.
Games.
3 straight games with that. But we have to, if we're going to beat teams that aren't in disarray like Miami is, we have to at least have something down the field to make defenses have to think about. And that, too, will open up the run game if you can do that. Do you see plays out there that could be had or at least attempted explosively down the field in the passing game, or is that something that can evolve? What do you make of where it is right now?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that with a young quarterback that doesn't feel very comfortable throwing from in the pocket, especially down the field, due to the confidence factor, due to the fact that he doesn't have a massive arm, and that he's not a very tall quarterback, I think it has to come off of play action. It has to come off of some of those boot concepts. Some of them you're going to boot him, keep him on the run. Some of them you're going to start booting, and then he's going to pull up, and then you have those extra blockers, and it's really just kind of a two-man route. But I think as Quinshon Judkins continues to exploit defenses through the run game and become an even bigger weapon and a guy that the defenses are going to continue to game plan everything they have against him, you have to start calling a few more of those play action shots just to scare a defense, get them to back up a little bit, and then tell Dylan, like, hey, I realize we are praising you for doing a great job at taking care of the football. And let's be honest, the reason we won that game against the Miami Dolphins yesterday was because we took the football away and we didn't turn the ball over on offense. That was the reason we scored the points. I mean, we scored a pick six. We got a turnover on a kickoff that gave us amazing field position, allowing us to go right into the end zone on a short field. So yes, that's really important, but in the long run, we have to push the ball down the field. So I'm sure that Kevin's in meetings this week, and as they're game planning, getting ready for next Sunday's game, they're saying, look, it's great to take care of the ball, but we need to have some calculated risk here within our play action passing game where you just let it rip. It's either our guy or nobody. We've got enough guys that got speed on the outside that we're going to set it up on this play. It's going to maybe shift in formation to look like a different run. We're going to have great run action up front, but you just got to let it rip because we need to start hitting some explosive plays in the passing game.
Now, after you hit those explosives, you get down near the goal line. If they don't get in there, I got to tell you, I absolutely loved what we did at the goal line. Let's just go 11 on 11. It wasn't even wildcat. Quarterback wasn't even on the field. I don't know what you call that. It was basically like
direct snap.
And we're running.
Single
we're running.
wing.
Now, obviously, we're going to have at some point this year, it feels like logic would dictate that you're going to have a pass out of this at some point. But it works. It worked really well. I thought we heard they put that in on Thursday night when they knew about the weather. I think this should be a permanent part of our short yardage package. I don't see any reason for it not to be. What do you think of it, Hoff, and what advantage does it give the offense when there isn't a wasted player out there?
Well, Kevin Stefanski is clearly a big fan of CBD because we broke it down extensively last week and talked about, when you're down there and you don't have a quarterback that has a great deal of confidence and experience running all the short little concepts and reading either one side or the other side and making quick decisions, 1 to 2, inside to outside, outside to inside, vice versa. And if you don't have that, let's just ride the horse that brought us down here all the way and give him the football. And you know what? Everybody knows it anyway. So you might as well just make it old school single wing, snap him the football. He's good enough to be able to get in there even when everybody knows that he's getting the football. We've got 3 really good interior blockers that can create movement, create little spaces and gaps and angles. And Quinshon is really good at finding those cracks and running the crack. That's the important key when you're talking and you're coaching. How do you run short yardage and goal line looks? For a running back, it's all about not seeing a big hole, not trying to bounce it outside. Find those little cracks where your offensive linemen have momentum. They're moving in a certain direction, and then ride the wave through that crack into the end zone. He does a great job, as good as anybody I've ever seen. So let's just keep doing that until they stop it. And of course, you have to have in your repertoire a couple passes, a couple little wrinkles off of that. But I think it gives us the best chance of success when we get down there, and it's a lot of fun, and you're rewarding the dude that's taking the big hits, and you're exciting everybody, including your offensive line there. And I think that's your identity. We talked a lot about identity last week, and if you embrace that and just say, hey, try to stop us, I think that has always been historically your best bet in short yardage and goal line. If you look at all the teams that have been great, if you've studied it for the last 20 years, teams that are great in short yardage and goal line, they have a very small package, and by and large, they run the same play. Like we know all about the tush push in Philadelphia right now. Before them, it was the New England Patriots quarterback sneak with Tom Brady, right? When it was short yardage. Before he was a master at quarterback sneaks, all they would run is outside zone. And you just get really good at it on the offensive line. The team you're going against, they practice against it that week, but they don't have as much experience doing it as the team on offense that's doing it every single week. And make them try to stop it, right? And embrace that identity, because I think for this team, now they're sort of looking in the playoff picture, and I'm sure there's guys that are trying to talk themselves into, maximum excitement, enthusiasm, and focus moving forward, saying, hey, we're not out of this just yet. But you know what? You got to build that identity. You got to embrace who you are. We're a team that wants to run the ball and play great defense.
You hit on it there, too. It's got to embolden the offensive line. Like, I'm sure Batonio hears that, and he's like, yeah, follow me to freedom. Just follow 75.
Let's go.
There's some juice. You can sense it.
It was a pull in Joel Batonio that had the big block on the long touchdown.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
There's something to that, isn't it, Hoff? Like, just trust your big boys up front to do their jobs.
Yeah, and I think it's so important when you're in a season that's not going the way you had hoped. You want to find little victories that you can celebrate and build that morale within each unit, right? And so when you're running the ball and you got big old Joel Batonio there setting the franchise record since 99 with the most starts, and everybody loves him. He's a leader. Like, getting that guy some great blocks, getting Quinshon in the end zone, like rewarding the guys that are doing it the right way, that has a way to build morale and give people something to be excited about and to work for, even if the season or a certain game is not going the way you want, so that you're continuing to build identity and build a a belief in who you are and an excitement that is so important for a lot of guys, especially the young guys, right? Because maybe they haven't learned yet that you have to be a professional, whether you're 0-16 or you're 16-0. You got to be able to treat every game the same way. It's not easy for a lot of guys, especially coming from college. If you were in a great program and you're not used to losing at all, and then every week you get this belief that you're going to win and then you don't win, it's like your mind is kind of wondering, do I believe in the game plan? Do I believe in the coaches? Do I trust what we're doing? And that's a waste of your energy, right? But if you narrow it down and you help continue to get those guys to focus on the smaller things that you can get excited about, like giving Quinchon the ball when he's close to the goal line, getting Joel Bitonio out there blocking and knocking guys out of the way, and then you can celebrate those little wins, and you're not so much looking at your record or the scoreboard. That's how you continue to give great effort and get the most out of guys and continue to improve during a season that feels like it's not going the way you want.
Well, you got a big victory, and it was, as we talked about, you had a special teams made plays. Andre Schmidt made all of his kicks in very difficult conditions. Delpit got the ball out. You turned that into points. I think we had 4 takeaways, 21 points off of those takeaways. This defense, they've been asking to play with a lead. They got to play with a lead. They were awesome. 4 sacks. What did you see from Jim Schwartz? It felt a little different to me. It felt like Miles was moved around more. We had a lot more blitzes to kind of disrupt the rhythm, a very rhythmic offense. And I thought just an incredible plan. What did you see from our defense, just from scheme-wise, and then obviously the great execution?
I thought obviously scheme and execution were awesome. The defense was pivotal in this victory with their takeaways, and I can tell that Jim Schwartz is becoming annoyed with the conversation every week about, why your defense is so great, but why can't you take the football away? And so taking those calculated risks on defense is always so important. And knowing the quarterback you're going against, knowing the little tendencies that he has in certain situations to throw the ball in certain areas, out of certain formations, like those are the differences between a good defensive coordinator and a great defensive coordinator. Opening up your guys, taking the leash off in certain situations and saying, you know what, if they throw the ball over your head and we have to tackle them 30 yards down the field, it's okay because we want you to jump this route when you get this look. We feel very confident that's where the ball is going to go. And I love that, right? Because now you make their quarterback Tua start to think and question what he's doing as you start picking him off, as you start getting close to interceptions because you're jumping some of those routes that he feels confident in. And I think it was just a classic blueprint for success for a Jim Schwartz defense, right? He's moving guys around. He's giving Miles looks at different guys that he likes in certain situations on third down. So he has great matchups. And it really, I think, uncoupled the rest of the defense. I thought Mason Graham probably played the best game of his pro career, making a lot of impact plays with his penetration and disrupting what the offensive line wanted to do. So I think in general, you make those turnovers, you get those sacks, you start moving guys around, you do things that are a little bit out of what the ordinary is that you have been doing, and that builds the excitement too, right? And I think we talked a lot about it last week, right? How do you find motivation and excitement within a team that feels like you're underachieving compared to where you thought you would be? You got to build those little victories in and build little excitement for the players with different packages, different plays. And I thought the coaching staff, hats off to those guys because they did that. They built that into the scheme. They took weather into consideration, but they also were able to uncouple and unlock some of the talents of the guys that we have out here to allow them to make play. And then when they make those plays, they get excited with each other. And I think it was a humongous win for the morale of the team and for the morale of the fan base to just say, you know what, that was fun watching our Cleveland Browns there on Sunday.
Certainly was, man. I mean, there's so much value in getting a win on a Sunday and just feeling good about yourself for a Monday and through the rest of the week. Time for a Trench Report brought to you by Big Fig, the mattress made for more, crafted in Cleveland just like our Browns. Let's focus on the big positive on Sunday, the play of one of them certainly our defensive line. Hoff, 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits, 6 tackles for loss, 1 pass defense. That goes to Mason Graham, as you mentioned. Miles with a sack, 2 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for loss. They just ate, and they've been eating a lot all year, but this is one of those instances, and Miles had bemoaned this, like, what happens if we get to play with the lead, and you see what happens when you do. Yeah,
that's always been the frustrating thing when I was playing and we were struggling. It's like, Well, when we play behind all the time and we just sit back and the quarterback's throwing the ball 50 times, it makes our job so much more difficult, right? When it's a close game and the defense has to respect the run, it's so much easier for us. And it's the same thing with the defensive line. Like, it's really difficult, one, to make impact plays when you're playing from behind because the other team is not going to take any chances. The quarterback's not going to hang on to the football at all. They're not going to push the ball down the field. They're probably going to just run the ball. And it's the same thing too from a morale standpoint. Like, defense is much harder because they always have all 11 guys have to run to the football every play. So they get more exhausted. They have to play harder and faster all the time. And it's difficult to keep that level without having exciting plays and making turnovers on defense. So it was so important to me to see the defense eat the way they did, to kind of continue to give them that energy and that reason, that little bone for them to play at their maximum capacity with critical effort in every single situation, because I think that's the first thing in a lost season that goes is the effort from the defense.
Well, I'm glad. Listen, let's keep it going. Let's keep getting that success and having a little bit of fun with it. Overall, Hoff, one of the things that jumped out in this one was the new addition, Tyson Campbell. I thought he had 2 monster plays. Number one, they didn't complete a single pass in his direction, but when he ran down Devon Achane, that was absolutely an attention getter to me because he moved at a different speed than anybody on the field. I think he hit 21 miles an hour on that one, which is cooking. I can only do that in an automobile. I can't even do that on one of those high-powered scooters, hit 21 miles an hour. And then the pick six, the tightrope walk, and then get in the end zone. What a time for, what a way to make an impression, obviously, on your new team and in front of the fans.
Yeah, it's huge, right? He's a new face. He wants to make a positive impression, and to be able to do it in the way he did on Sunday was great. You feel really happy for the player because now he's going to exert a little more confidence, right? And you hope that kind of snowballs into more big plays for them because he showed his speed, right? And we got a guy out there on the outside that when he gets the football in his hands, he's dangerous. He could take it to the house. And I think that'll embolden him and his coordinators to maybe try to dial up a few more opportunities with trap corners and things of that nature where he's got a chance to make a game-changing play on the outside. And you love that when you bring in a new guy to kind of allow the fans to get to know him a little bit and kind of embrace him as a member of the Cleveland Browns. And I think then all of a sudden it becomes a yin and a yang where he's starting to give to the fans are giving to him. And, it's how you kind of continue to snowball and create a great career.
All right, Hoff, before we get into game balls and all that kind of fun, I have to ask, did you get a chance to watch any of the Rams and the Jags?
I watched the second half of that game. It was already kind of out of hand.
Okay, but there was a play in the second half. I think the Rams had a 4th and 5, and they did a hard count, and they drew the Jags offsides, and the left guard hit the Jags player to get that, and then gave what I consider to be one of the all-time offensive line celebrations. Have you seen this?
No,
you know what
I didn't see this. No, I got to pull it up.
All right, I just tagged you in a tweet with it.
All right, great.
You'll be able to see it. But basically, they get the hard count. He hits the guy. It's the left guard. I'm pretty sure he's wearing 73, which would no doubt be an homage to you. And he comes in and does a great kick of the heels and a
great celebration.
It's unbelievable. I remember watching this live, and I just started cracking up. So I thought it was pure joy. I don't know if you're going to get a chance. Let us know.
Oh, yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Okay, here it comes.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's like the leprechaun. I mean, you can't plan that because you have no idea that the guy's going to jump across from you, I guess, other than being 4th and 5 and you're hard counting and everybody in the stadium knows that as well, except for the bozo that's standing across from you. But I love the leprechaun click of the heels, showing some great athleticism, jumping up in the air, and then the double-handed first down. I mean, there are very few things that offensive linemen can get excited about in the course of a game, but right there, boom, that is exactly
joy
what
on his face.
He's so happy.
I figured you would get a kick out of that.
That's
of all
great.
People.
Well, we're having offensive linemen are having more fun they've ever had. I don't know if you guys have seen Caden Proctor, who's probably going to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft at Alabama. They run him in short yardage tailback.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
And he puts
zone.
it in the paint.
Yeah, he's like outside zone.
Outside zone.
Yes.
He's like the fridge. Except he's on the offense
going,
and he's going
running
wide.
outside.
Didn't they do something, not a run, but they threw a ball to Penei Sewell once.
They threw it to him too. They threw it to Caden Proctor this 2 weeks ago. They threw it to him like a receiver screen.
I like the sound of this guy.
Yeah, it's offensive line renaissance off.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know if you guys watched the Denver game, but their left tackle was eligible. And he got an opportunity to get the football. He didn't catch it, but he made a very athletic play to try to give a diving one-handed catch in the end zone. So yeah, we're having a renaissance. We're people too, just like kickers.
All right, guys, game balls. Let's start on the offensive side. Hoff, we'll start with you. Who gets your game ball offensively?
I mean, thanks for letting me go first. Obviously, it's Quinshon Judkins, 25 carries, 84 yards, 3 touchdowns, hitting some big, deep runs, showing off the speed, and then being able to do the dirty work between the tackles in the short yardage goal line situation. I mean, he is turning out to be one of the steals of this last draft class.
I'm going to give my game ball to Joel Bitonio for his 168th start as a Cleveland Brown, which is the most by any Brown since 1999, and one more than our esteemed guest.
That's fantastic. All right, game balls defense. Z, you're first.
I'm going to give it to Grant Delpit because, number one, I love Grant Delpit. Number two, forced fumble on special teams, gets a sack. His pressure leads to the easiest interception of Rayshon Jenkins' career.
Yeah.
Because he basically throws it right to him. So I'm going to give Grant Delpit just the way how hard he has played. I think he's playing it at an elite level, Pro Bowl level, maybe even all-pro level, but loved what I've seen from him.
Yeah, I love the Grant Delpit pick. That's actually who I was going to pick. But I think
maybe
one thing, I'll just piggyback real quick, and then I'll give it to Miles because he deserves it as well. But he's become a tone setter out there on defense.
Yep.
And, Miles is a guy that obviously makes amazing amount of plays, and he's a leader in that locker room. But I wouldn't say he's always a tone setter. And I think it's important to have that guy on defense who talks about what we can be, and he talks about the greatness of within every single player and what you can do and the leadership that he brings. And I think he's backing it up with his play now, with consistency in that tackling department and the coverage department. And I think having somebody in the back end at safety is such an important part of building a great defense. When you look at all the great defenses over my lifetime, especially going back when I was in the NFL, you think about Ed Reed being there in Baltimore and Troy Polamalu being there in Pittsburgh. Like, you got to have that guy on defense who is a difference maker at the safety position, who's consistent, he's reliable, he's a leader vocally, he's positive. But then he's also a great communicator amongst the secondary so that everybody is on their assignments. They know where they're passing off things in the zone. And he's a guy he's fun, right? He's fun for the fans to cheer for. And we got to have that in a season right now where we're feeling a lot better about where we are, but we're still 2-5. And you want to have that guy who's coming into his own and continues to build towards being an all-pro level talent. And I'll give my game ball to Myles Garrett. 1 sack, 2 QB hits, 2 TFLs, and he was in the backfield all day. And finally had a game where he could rush with the lead and become more of a difference maker than he is when it's a game where you're playing from behind all the time.
And I'll give honorable mention Ronnie Hickman and Tyson Campbell.
Yeah, I think Kevin maybe got it right, too, with Schwartz, because anytime you get a shirtless coordinator, that wins.
That was unbelievable.
That's just spectacular.
And he dropped his bench press, and they say he benches 300.
Oh, man.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, it just was good. And it just, sometimes we get so macro when we talk about teams. We talk about big picture and what's going to happen a year from now and what's going to be this. And the reality is that sometimes just a Sunday win is nice for everybody, and it was long overdue around here. The task this week will be a big one. This New England team is a little bit of a wagon right now. Got a slow start on Sunday in their game against Tennessee, and then they just overwhelmed them. Drake May's throwing it all over the place for this team as well, and Mike Vrabel, who was here all of last year, Hoff. The job he's done so far in New England, and how many times have you even, if ever, have you crossed paths with Mike?
Yeah, I know Vrabel pretty well. I actually played against him in New England when I was a rookie, and then in Kansas City. Got to drink a few Mai Tais and beers with him at Pro Bowls past out there in Hawaii. He's a great dude, a good man to have a beer with, as you would expect. And he's really done a great job carrying who he was as a player on the field to who he has become as a coach. Dan Campbell has gotten a lot of credit, rightly so, for the type of coach that he is. And most people don't even know what type of player he was, but he was a wild man when he was playing. He used to have this long hair, played for the Lions, and he'd throw his body all over the place and, playing with reckless abandon. And that's the type of energy that he brings to his team in the same way that Mike Vrabel's bringing to the New England Patriots. But on top of that, he brings a discipline, a toughness, an accountability that you'd want your head coach to be no matter who he is. And so I'm happy for him, although I hate the Patriots. So I can't really exactly be excited for him. I'm happy for him because he's always done it the right way. And it's easy to cheer for men that have done it the right way and have continued to have success, especially when I think they were wrongly convicted in Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're getting ousted there. That seemed, in hindsight especially, like a pretty shaky maneuver there by the Tennessee Titans.
I read something today that said they had offers. Teams were willing to trade for Vrabel, so they could have gotten assets, and they just didn't even want to do the paperwork.
You want to do it? Yeah.
What are we talking
What
about?
are you doing?
That's madness.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah. That was a little hostile on the home crowd yesterday down in Nashville, to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed it was.
We have not beaten New England in New England since 1992. Belichick was here the last time that happened.
Well, we've gone twice in my time here, and I've seen us lose, and then I watched us lose on TV when I was out with COVID, which turns out that trip I was happy to not make that one. That one got away from us real quick.
Yeah, they're up and coming. I mean, they might win that division right now the way that it's they're off to a great start and have played some really good football. So that'll be a fun one this week. We'll worry about that as the week goes along. Hoff, great seeing you as always.
The best.
The very best.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me on this beautiful Victory Monday. The Hoff Beef Victory Monday.
Oh, the Hoff
I
Beef.
wore the wrong hat,
Oh,
too.
I like
Dang
that.
it, where's my hat? Oh,
Where's the Hoff Beef?
Mom,
Here it is. We
Mom,
got it.
Where's
We got
the beef? There it is. The
there it
Victory
is.
Monday hat. I love it. I love it.
We're ready. We're ready.
We're ready.
Yeah, baby.
Beautiful.
Yeah, baby.
All right,
there
guys.
it
Thanks
is.
for having me on.
There you go, the Joe Thomas half hour of the program, and there you go, Cleveland Browns Daily. We are back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody. CBD 850 ESPN Cleveland.